those we lead to reach for challenging objectives.
Very encouraged by our discussion this morning. I'm happy that you seem to feel comfortable with the expectations we've agreed to.
Thanks, Cindy. I appreciate your support, and I'm sure I'll be able to make these new numbers. Last year,
helping them live up to their potential while offering the necessary support.
And you won't have to go it alone. I'll work with you to find a software package that has the flexibility you need.
Thanks, that will really help.
No problem. And if we find a good one,
by discussing expectations, we help provide a target to shoot for and a means for measuring success. In the discussion you're about to see, Laura Jenkins will help to set expectations for her own position. She reports to Greg Sutton, who will work with her to agree on realistic yet challenging objectives for the coming year. In discussing expectations with Laura, Greg will follow 6 critical steps. Indicate the importance of discussing performance expectations. Outline the process to be used in the discussion. Discuss and agree on each performance expectation. Agree on resources and assistance needed. Summarize the discussion and set a follow-up date. Express confidence in the employee's ability to succeed.
Well, Laura, come on in.
Greg will concentrate on gaining Laura's commitment to challenging but attainable expectations.
Yes, it sounds like a good way to get off to the right start.
Well, as you know, Laura, we're meeting today to discuss and agree on performance expectations.
Right.
And I'm sure you think, as I do, that the objectives we set should be challenging but attainable.
I certainly do.
I consider your knowledge of the job to be important to this discussion, so I'm looking forward to hearing your ideas.
Sure, I've already given it some thought.
Good. Then as you work out the specifics for the coming year, we'll agree on what's important, and that should help in focusing your efforts.
That would be a big help.
So let me just go over what we'll want to cover.
Okay.
We'll review the most important job areas, like maintaining project schedules, interdepartmental cooperation, and generating reports, as well as the skills important to supporting them, like communication. You said you'd given this some thought, so feel free to share your ideas. I'm interested in hearing what you have to say about all of these areas as we discuss them.
The problems, too?
Absolutely. If we're going to set realistic expectations, then we want to be realistic in our discussion. That makes sense, doesn't it?
Yes, it does.
That way we can plan more effectively for the support you'll need. How does that sound?
Fine. We'll go over each of the areas, set expectations, and see if I need any help to meet them.
Right. So, let's start at the top of the list. Scheduling. Considering that the whole department counts on you to keep track of project schedules, what do you consider reasonable expectations in this area?
Well, now that I keep the master schedule for everyone, it's rare when there's a conflict. But then mistakes do happen, so I don't want to commit myself to no errors at all.
Do you think it would be reasonable to keep scheduling conflicts down to, let's say, no more than 1 per quarter?
It's every 3 months. I don't see why not. Sure.
Good. Be sure to let me know if you have any trouble.
All right.
The next area is interdepartmental cooperation.
Well, no, that's not as easy. You know, I get the feeling sometimes that our department's reputation isn't exactly the greatest, and I get tired of hearing people run us down.
I agree, that is discouraging. That's why this year, one thing I want to discuss with everyone is improving the department's image. Any ideas on what you can do in that respect?
Let's see. Well, there are probably lots of things that could be done, but the one thing I can think of right now is doing something to acknowledge the help that we get from other departments, like on meeting deadlines, things like that. Maybe I could write a note anytime someone gives us a hand.
That's a good idea.
Like last week. You know, Terry stayed late to copy that last-minute report. Now, even though I said thanks, it probably would have been nice to put it in writing. You know, to let her and her boss know that we really appreciated it.
You're right. I like that. Let's say that any time you're aware of someone from another department going out of their way to help us out, you'll take responsibility for writing them a note. Okay?
Sure.
Now, how do you think we can keep track of that?
Well, I'll give you a copy on any notes that I sent. And I'll also keep a file.
Good. You know, another thing the other departments complain about is our response time to their requests. Sometimes they think we're being uncooperative when we don't get back to them fast enough. Would any aspect of that fall under your control?
Well, sure. I get all kinds of requests for information.
Like providing someone with an updated budget report.
Exactly.
And what do you think would be a reasonable turnaround time for a routine request like that?
Could we say maybe 24 hours?
24 hours. It sounds okay for now. We might want to modify it later if it's not working out. You know, it's not only when we respond that's important, it's also how. And that has a lot to do with communication skills.
Yeah, I guess you're right.
Like last Tuesday, I overheard that guy from MIS complaining to you about not getting his report on time.
Yeah, he was really giving me a hard time. And it wasn't even my fault the report was late.
Even so, you heard him out and didn't interrupt. And when you let him vent his frustration and then took the time to give him a clear explanation, he seemed satisfied.
Well, it doesn't pay to get upset in a situation like that. So I just try to stay calm, no matter how mad I get.
That's what I mean. If you'd gotten angry, instead of being patient and explaining the delay clearly, the way you did, he'd probably have stormed back to his department and fired off a complaint.
Probably.
So I think that one way we can track communication skills is through the complaints we get.
After discussing and agreeing on performance expectations with Laura, Greg moves on to the next step.
I think that covers all the expectations on my list. Now, I want to be sure we also cover anything that might help you to meet these expectations. Is there anything you think might be especially difficult?
Well, the hardest, I think, is going to be getting the reports out by those deadlines.
You know, one of your strengths has always been meeting report deadlines. But I understand that since we'll be adding people to the department, things could get more hectic. Is there anything I can do to help?
I'm not sure.
What if we get together and work out some timelines for the regular reports? That might help you to get the various pieces together before the deadline.
Yeah, that might take some of the pressure off.
Let's say we work together on a timeline for the budget report. Then maybe you could lay out the times for the other reports.
Oh, sure. Once I've got the hang of it, I ought to be able to do that.
And if you get stuck on any of them, I'm sure Pat would be willing to help you out. She's had a lot of experience with this sort of thing.
Okay.
Is there anything else I could be doing to help you with your objectives?
Well, I can't really think of anything right now.
Well, let me know if you think of anything later.
I will.
Okay, then. Why don't you recap what we've agreed on?
Okay. Well, in terms of scheduling, we agreed on no more than one conflict a quarter. And also, I'll be working on our image by sending thank you notes for any help that we get.
And you'll see that I get copies.
Right. And I'll also keep a file. Then next,
Turnaround time on requests?
Oh, yeah. Handling requests within 24 hours. And I'll be working on communication, too. No significant complaints for the year. And, then comes the tough one. Shooting for 95% of report deadlines. But I'll be getting some help there.
Right. I'll be working with you to develop a timeline, at least for the budget report. And you can go to Pat or me if you get stuck on the others.
Well, I'll do my best.
I'm sure you will. If any problems develop with the expectations we've set, let me know. It's important to me that you're successful.
Thanks, Greg. I'll let you know.
Fine. Why don't we meet next Friday at 10 a.m. to work on the timeline for the budget report?
10's good.
We can also consider then any adjustments we might have to the expectations.
Well, it's good to know that we can talk about them again, but I'm hoping to accomplish everything just as we said here.
I'm sure that won't be a problem. I know that when you set out to do something, you give it your best.
Thanks.
Now I'll let you get back to those request forms you've been working on.
Right. I'll have those ready for the staff meeting after lunch.
Great, I'll see you then.
Okay.
In the discussion you've just seen, Greg was successful in gaining Laura's agreement to challenging but realistic expectations. He accomplished this by involving her in the discussion, by encouraging her to offer ideas, and by using those ideas in setting expectations. He effectively used the following critical steps. Indicate the importance of discussing performance expectations.
Then as you work out the specifics for the coming year, we'll agree on what's important, and that should help in focusing your efforts.
Outline the process to be used in the discussion.
We'll review the most important job areas, like maintaining project schedules, interdepartmental cooperation, and generating reports, as well as the skills important to supporting them, like communication. You said you'd given this some thought, so feel free to share your ideas.
Discuss and agree on each performance expectation.
Right. So, let's start at the top of the list. Scheduling. Considering that the whole department counts on you to keep track of project schedules, what do you consider reasonable expectations in this area?
Agree on resources and assistance needed.
Now, I want to be sure we also cover anything that might help you to meet these expectations. Is there anything you think might be especially difficult?
Summarize the discussion and set a follow-up date.
Okay then. Why don't you recap what we've agreed on?
Express confidence in the employee's ability to succeed.
I'm sure that won't be a problem. I know that when you set out to do something, you give it your best.